Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Sundays with Sully. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button on YouTube to stay up to date and in the know with the latest happenings in the marine industry. All right, that's out of the way. As you guys can tell, we are out of the studio. It's another field trip. We are at Lyman Morse up in Camden, and we are on board the latest Hood 35. This is a hull number 2, I believe, and you can see here it is a cold molded boat. They've got a lot of beautiful work going on in here. Speaking of some of that beautiful work, well, we've got John from our Belfast office here, and he's doing a bunch of the wiring on board this boat. As you guys can see, putting all of these systems together here, from the generator to the battery management and all that stuff. So I thought, you know what, this is a good time to pick John's brain for a couple of minutes and talk about just what's involved in rigging one of these boats and some of the prep work. Now, we've got a unique opportunity here because this is a brand new build. There's no deck on board the boat, as you can see, so we really have a great overview. You can see things like wire chaseways right there that are already going in, and we can make things a lot easier. So let's talk to John. Let's see what's going on with this build. He'll give us a little rundown of everything he's got going on in here, and we can go from there. So, John, why don't you let us know what's happening?
So we're on 35 Hood, hull number 2, and we met with Lyman, gosh, it was months ago, initially planning the project and discussing the electrical installation, the system navigation package, and basically went through a lot of pre-planning and schematics and kind of laying the land, and here we are. So I am I guess week 3 now, a few days a week coming in. Progressively, they're getting components put into place, and I'm either doing terminations to the components or I'm pre-wiring before the components get there. So back of the boat, we started with some engine distribution, RBS switches. We got 2 Group 31 batteries underneath the step, RBS remote switching capability, so we can turn the batteries on and off of the engines up forward, protective fusing and so forth, and then it'll break out from there. Pretty low key back here in the engine space. There'll be a bilge pump setup, some ray cores in the bulkhead and stuff like that, but a pair of Volvos going in with the dual prop out drives, and I think these are about 550 horsepower a piece, so
nice.
She should scoot right along.
Nice.
Moving forward, we put in conduit trays on each side. Some transition points up forward there so we can get up into the cabinet area. And basically started here. We got an inverter, 3,000 watt inverter. We've got the 6K Northern Lights generator. Generator start battery system with another RBS system so we can remotely turn it on and off. And a secondary control display with emergency stop back here. So this space has access through a hatch right here. The engine space is a hatch seating area that actually lifts up with a power lift.
Okay.
So this will be closed off. This will be deck, and then there's an access hatch here. And then where you're standing, Chris, is a seakeeper, and there's actually a hatch right above that to get directly to the seakeeper. So when we lay out this boat, we've got to figure out function. If somebody needs to come in and do service work, or they need access to any of the below deck systems, we tried to lay it out so they could get in through the aft hatch and be able to work their way around below deck, because when the deck is on, you've only got a couple of feet.
So we want to make sure we've got the pre-planning, make service.
So we put a lot of thought into, okay, if somebody needs to come in and work on the generator, they've got plenty of room. If they need to get over to the inverter for some reason, they can pass through this side. If they need to get forward to the distribution for the house bank or 24-hour power, we also have access through the aft hatch up to that area. So a lot of thought goes into it. So forward from there, we got 2 4D AGMs. So these will be the house bank. The house bank then has fuse protection and goes over to the Victron Lynx distribution modules. And then from there, it'll go forward up to this bulkhead, and that's actually where the distribution panel will be. But everything is laid out to where if they didn't have an actuating RBS switch working for some reason, he could open the hatch, hit the button for the house. If for some reason the generator had an issue, he opens the hatch, he can hit the bypass. If there's an issue with the RBSs for the engines, this here will have an emergency lift capability where he could reach in and turn them on and off. So everything's kind of
So we've got some redundancies built in for safety sake and making sure we can get everything accessible there.
So this is a transition. The floor will come across up to here. Then this will be a bulkhead. The helm is in this area here. This bulkhead here will be finished off when you go down into the cabin right to the left. That's where the AC/DC panel will be. There'll be a generator start-stop, the Seakeeper panel, RBS switches and all that to the port side. So it's pretty nice layout. The helm area is pretty simple. It's got a pair of 8612 Garmin Volvo displays. Very, very clean. It's not littered with switches and buttons and all that. They're going to keep it pretty smooth. This is an open concept, so there's no aft curtain, there's no aft bulkhead, no doors. It's all open from the hardtop. And then forward, you go down in, you'll have a head to the starboard, a galley area to port, and then you've got a forward small berth all the way up in the bow. The bow is going to get a thruster and a windlass and another battery onto its own RBS switch, so you can independently turn that on and off. Pretty clean. There'll be a head system, freshwater tank, hot water heater.
So it'll have all the complements of home, everything you've come to expect.
But not crazy.
Yeah, everything you've come to expect on a boat without having too much other stuff.
Yeah. So the nice part is the inverted circuits. If you don't want to listen to the generator, you won't have to. You've got plenty of reserve capacity to have the inverter run some outlets, the microwave, or whatever need be. When the engines are running, that hot water heater will give you hot water, or you can actually turn the generator on and heat your hot water that way too. But yeah, this is kind of a cool way to see it, because before that deck gets put on in about 2 weeks, we have all this wide open access. Once the deck goes on, we start crawling. So we try to get everything done prior to, and that's about it.
Awesome. So I think, John, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but I believe this hull is actually for sale, right? So if somebody is interested in this, they can reach out to Lyman Morse on this build.
Yeah.
This is available. It does have, said it's got the Volvo I/O power on this. You can see the rigging on it. This boat's really cool. It's a really neat project. So we wanted to kind of showcase. This is one of the many things we do here at Navtronics, is partnering with other builders to make sure that we can lay out things for them and get them dialed in, because we have the knowledge for the electronics and the technology. Let them do what they do well, and that's build and design boats. So that's it. That is this week's Sundays with Sully. John, thank you very much for your time today. And as always, guys, like I said in the beginning, I got to say the spiel again. Make sure to give us a like, follow, subscribe, share, YouTube and Instagram at Navtronics to stay up to date and in the know with the latest marine happenings. And we will see you guys somewhere next week. Peace.